Welcome to Artists, Icons, and Entrepreneurs, the podcast that dives deep into the stories of trailblazers who shape our world. Our co-host, Lulu Benavidez, is a seasoned entrepreneur in the beauty industry, is a photographer, artist, and the proud owner of Lulu's The Salon in Galveston, Texas. Our other co-host, Krokonis, Hanson, is a visionary in the entrepreneurial world with years of experience in business innovation and development. Together, they bring you insights, inspiration, and the journeys of remarkable individuals who have made their mark. And with that, let's get started. Brianne Gershon is a published makeup artist, hairstylist, and educator celebrated for her creativity, technical precision, and a commitment to inspiring the next generation of beauty professionals. In 2025 alone, Brianne has earned 6 major industry awards, cementing her reputation as a boundary-pushing artist in both hair and makeup. Her recent wins include 2 NAHA awards, Hair Colorist of the Year in Styling and Finishing, and a historic sweep at the 2025 Contessa Awards, where she was named Canadian Colorist of the Year, Avant-Garde Hairstylist of the Year, and Alberta Hairstylist of the Year. She also took home the Creative Colorist Award at the Live Hair Fashion Awards in Las Vegas, where she led 3 masterclasses on makeup artistry. These accomplishments build on her 2023 win as Canadian Makeup Artist of the Year, establishing Brianne as a dual-discipline talent and a rising force in the industry. With a decade of experience, Brianne's work blends conceptual storytelling with refined technique. Her signature style reflects both artistic vision and technical mastery, earning her recognition across editorial, competition, and educational platforms. Currently pursuing her Bachelor of Education, Brianne is stepping into a new chapter focused on mentorship and education, driven by a passion for uplifting future talent. When she's not teaching or training, she's likely crafting her next concept shoot or stage presentation. Today, we're excited to explore her journey, artistry, and commitment to redefining excellence in the beauty world. Please welcome in Brianne Gershon.
I'm so excited about the guest that we have today. Her name is Bria. What's her last name, Bria? Gross? So I'm so excited to have her on this podcast today. And I didn't get to meet her, but I was in Orlando and saw that you have won this massive, it has been a massive year for you, hasn't it?
Yes.
And congratulations to you. On your NAHA Award, you won 2 there, didn't you?
I did, yeah, which is crazy.
Well, can you tell us a little bit about how you felt when you won? And all this whole year has been so awesome for you. So can you tell the audience and share with the audience your experience?
Yeah, it's crazy. Obviously, it feels good. It's really exciting, but it also brings up a lot of unexpected feelings that I didn't expect. Like, just kind of like, it's shocking almost. Like, you always hope for something like that to happen, but then it actually happens and you're like, whoa, it's crazy. So it's been honestly just crazy. That's probably the best word to describe how it feels.
Great, great. So, I have a co-host named Krokonis Hanson, and right now she's not on this podcast, but she's either going to ask you some questions if we can hear her. Right now we're having some difficulty, technically difficulty. So we, this morning, have started our podcast, and everything was fine, and now it's not. It is what it is. That's what technology is all about. So, Sue, can you ask her a question?
I guess my big thing is just to look at 6 major awards. Wow, what a year for you personally. You're a celebrity, both your hair and your makeup artistry. How do you balance the 2 creative worlds? And do you approach them differently?
That's such a good question. I get asked that a lot, but it's funny because I think
Can you hear me?
Yeah, she can hear you.
I think that other people view them separately, and I forget that because I don't view them separately. I kind of forget that they're separate. So yeah, I kind of view like hair and makeup both as like a medium to just create something. I don't really think about them differently, but they are, I guess, different to most people. But to me, it's just kind of the same. So I guess I don't really struggle to balance them or view it that way. I'm kind of just like, they're both like, I taught in Las Vegas recently, and my partner actually, he came with and seen me teaching, and he made a comment after that said, I forget that you do makeup because I see you doing all of this hair stuff. And I was like, oh yeah, I guess so. I don't know. They're just kind of, I don't even think of them differently.
So when you enter all your contests, other competitions that you've entered, are they both, do you both do hair and makeup for both the
Yes,
model?
I have all of them up until this point. I've been kind of considering. I kind of thought about it this year. Maybe I'll bring in someone to help with the makeup, and then I was like, no, I don't think I will. So maybe I will. I don't know. I usually do both. So
That's awesome to have that skill to be able to do both is, I think, is incredible, because usually, and Sue and I have done photo shoots for the companies that we work for, and usually when you go into a photo shoot, you have a hair person, you have a makeup person, you have a photographer, you have a stylist, you have all these different people. And I remember one of my friends, Luis Alvarez, which I talk to him quite often, he always tells me, if you're going to do one of those things, do it just one of those things. Don't do them all, because you can't, it's really hard to be able to let go. And trust me, I know, because I do photography also. So, you're doing the hair. Unfortunately, I don't do the makeup anymore, but, it's that I can't concentrate when I'm doing the hair and I'm doing photography. But something gets lost in the mix of things. But kudos to you to be able to have that skill and to be able to win at NAHA for 2 awards. That's amazing. That's amazing.
it's interesting you say that, because I've heard the same thing along my career. I've actually been told by people who I really respect and I think are amazing, do one or do the other. Like the advice I've gotten. And I'm happy I didn't listen to it, which is because I usually take in all of the advice people give me, especially if I respect the person, as like, they're right, but I don't know. I guess when it comes to doing the shoots, you do kind of have to pick your battles, right? Like if it's more, in my mind, if it's more of a hair focused shoot, well then I'm not as caught up in the makeup. Whereas if it's a makeup focus shoot, the hair is going to be pulled back. So I do kind of like try to balance it in that way where it's not so much of everything, because I think if I wanted a shoot where it was like, totally focused on the makeup and the hair, I'd have to have help, because it would be just...
Right. It'd be too crazy.
You noticed in my last shoot, I would touch up the makeup, and then as soon as the makeup was touched up, I had to touch up the hair. And then as soon as the hair was in the right place, the lipstick wasn't. So it was like, there's too much. Like,
Yeah. And that's what everybody said. Like I said, kudos to you to be able to have an eye for that. And that's important. So let's talk about your signature style. What exactly is that? How do you find your inspiration?
That's a really good question too. I think what I've heard from other people about what my signature style is, it reflects how I feel about my work, which is that the details are so important. So I think that maybe that's what I'm becoming known for, is that like the details aren't lost, so I think that is what gives me the ability to do both hair and makeup, is that in both it's really just the attention to detail. So if it's the eye makeup I'm doing, it's doing that as perfect as I can, or if it's the hair, it's as perfect as it can be. So I think that might be something that translates across all of them, or my style. And then for inspiration, that's also a really good question. I think a lot of my inspiration comes from fashion, things that I see on the runway, photo shoots that I see where what the model is wearing, or even if I go thrifting and I see something really cool, a lot of times that kind of will spark an interest, like, oh, that would look interesting with this kind of makeup, or so yeah, I think fashion is an influence for sure.
Great. So Sue, can you say the next question?
I can, although I'm having trouble. Presenting 3 master's classes in Las Vegas must have been incredible. What was the experience like, and what do you hope your students took away from it?
Yeah, it was incredible. It was really fun. I actually went in 2023 as well, and then I went back this year. So it was fun getting to do it again and take what I had learned from doing it the first time and applying it now the second time. I would say, yeah, it was an incredible experience. I hope that anyone that attended my classes, I hope what they took from it is not only, I guess, the technical aspects of what I was teaching, but I hope that they felt inspired, and I hope that they felt like they wanted to go home and do something creative. Because I always try to, keep my classes personal to what I think that I'm really good at and like really focus on that and what can I actually offer these people that's different. So I hope that they were able to take that, something from that, and translate it to their own work, whether they do bridal makeup or they don't do makeup at all, or they do hair. I hope that the message came through in what I was doing, to just have fun and do something creative. Yeah.
So did you teach both hair and makeup in
I
these
taught-
classes? You taught makeup. So
Yes.
this was a makeup class.
Yes.
Okay, great. So I see that you're pursuing your bachelor's in education.
Yes.
So what inspired you to go towards that part of the education part and to become a mentor to those that you teach?
Yeah, I think that it was always sort of there. Like it was sort of it was a very natural transition now that I've moved more into doing it full time. But I think that it was always kind of there when I graduated high school. Before I started doing hair, I actually applied to university because I thought I wanted to be a teacher in some capacity. And then I actually withdrew and was like, I don't think I want to do this. You know, I think I actually want to do hair. So I decided to do an apprenticeship, and then fast forward, 10 years later, I still always kind of had that interest. So I would go back to my high school and teach classes with my teacher and, help her facilitate workshops and things. And she wasn't as versed in like makeup. So yeah, I would go in and do talks and classes, and I always just had an interest in doing it. It felt very natural. It didn't feel like a stretch by any means to be like, hey, this is what I know. And even when I was working in the salon after a few years, I found that I was mentoring people, or that they would need help with something, and I was helping them and teaching them what I had learned, even if it was only a few years in. I would always have kind of, fallen into that role of kind of helping mentor people. What led me to doing it more full-time was, like reevaluating my career, because I had done hair for, I think it was, so I'm 30 now, but I was 23, so about 7 years ago. I actually had carpal tunnel, which is crazy. I don't like talk about it often, or really at all. Nobody really knows because I don't talk about it. Maybe my clients know from back then, but it's very rare for someone young to get carpal tunnel. You hear of hairstylists that maybe get it when they're
older.
Somehow, I don't know, they said it could be like anatomical. I don't know if that's the right word, of like my wrists, or it could be that I was just doing hair and makeup excessively. Like I would do my clients all day. I would go home and be like, well, I want to keep doing things. So I'd be editing reels. I'd be trying makeup looks. Like I just kind of never stopped. Like I didn't have any other interest really. So that led me to getting carpal tunnel, which was very bizarre and both my hands at such a young age. So I had to have surgery for it, and that was, distressing and alarming at such a young age. And now I can talk about it because so much time has passed that like I'm in great health. I healed from the surgery, no symptoms, everything's great. But yeah, it forced me, I guess, to reevaluate my career and think like, what are my priorities? And then through that reflection, I realized that my priorities really are like creative work, helping people. How can I keep doing that and still do clients?
I'm going to sign off.
Okay.
I can't hear her, so why don't you just go ahead and finish up, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Sorry. I would have loved to have been on this with you.
Okay, it was so good to chat with you.
So Sue's is gone. She, can't get her computer up. So anyway, we'll continue with this. So you had carpal tunnel and you decided to take a course and to get your bachelor's of education. And I think that's awesome.
It didn't happen until like years later. So I guess I still continued to do hair, but I just started to think about things a little bit differently. And yeah, I continued to do hair after I had the surgery and everything was fine. But then the opportunity came up to go back to school and to get my degree accelerated in about 2 years through a school board here in Canada. So I was like, this is a great opportunity. I should absolutely do this. And it kind of just was like the natural question of where I was
yeah.
in. So yeah.
That's awesome. So as an educator, how does that shape your work as an artist and vice versa?
Yeah, I think becoming an educator, but specifically in getting my degree in education, because I'm teaching now not only like the classes I create, but the fundamentals, it's as an artist kind of forced me in a way to revisit those fundamentals, but it's been so enjoyable. I have such an appreciation now for finger waves and all of those things that you start in your journey and think you're never gonna do or aren't important, and now I'm like, I love and I take great pride in a good finger wave. So yeah, so I would say that artistically that the education part has affected that, and then vice versa. I would say whenever I'm teaching, I kind of view it like whatever class I'm teaching as an art in a way, like creating a lesson and like actually thinking about what are people going to get out of this? What do I want them to get out of this? There's such an art to teaching that people don't really like talk about, right? Like it's its own, I'm just eating my hair. It's its own a different way. So yeah, I think of that when I'm creating lessons. So yeah.
So are you working in a salon right now?
I do part-time, kind of, not really. So I have a friend. So I live downtown Calgary in Alberta in Canada, and have a friend just down the street actually who owns a barbershop, and great friendship. I love everybody who works there and owns the shop. So whenever I have clients, I will actually go there and I'll just rent a chair for the day and book them all in a day. So I would say like once or twice a month I'll go in, sometimes less, sometimes more, depending. And it's just people that I've been doing for a long time that, you know, still want their hair done by me and they're here. So
that's good. So when you're dreaming up your next photo shoot, what comes in mind?
That's a really good question.
So is it the concept, the color, the emotion, or is it all of it?
Yeah, I think it's the concept that comes first, and then like the emotion, the colors that I choose kind of comes after. I read this book and I listened to this podcast. Like, I love Elizabeth Gilbert. She wrote this book called Big Magic. I love it. Changed my life. And she talks about this idea of like creative ideas being their own entity, and then finding a person to go into that will, you know, put time and effort into create them. So I kind of view it that way. She talks about how everyone who does something creative speaks about it, that like the idea comes to them. I'm like, that's so true. It's like sometimes I just get an idea that I feel like comes to me, and those always end up being the best things that I produce. So usually it's like the concept will come to me and then I plan like the details after. Yeah.
So do you teach that in your classes?
Sorry.
Do you teach that in your classes?
Like about the creative. I guess depending on what I'm teaching. So I definitely go into it. Like in my classes that I taught in Vegas, one of them was called How to Create Award-Winning Looks. So all the classes are created by me, and then in that I talk about, you know, creating a mood board, having an idea and assessing it, picking the model based off of that and planning for it. So yeah, definitely the details of the creative process I do go through. Yes.
Which is good, you know, because what I've noticed that so many people that don't have a concept and don't know how to get to that point, you know, do things half-ass. Yeah. So if you have an actual system of how to do things, it's so much easier when you go into the photo shoot or whatever you're doing, or if you're creating hair or you're creating makeup or whatever you're creating, you know, it's always goes back to the concept. You know, what is the concept?
Yeah, I think so too. And I think that it's so easy. I'm one of those people that I always think more. Like, I don't know when to stop. I'm like, just put more glitter, put more hair, put more. So for me to have I have to have a concept, or I just don't know when to stop. Like, I have to know this is where the stopping point is. So I think that's helpful. And I do like what you said about half-assing things, because that is probably my greatest pet peeve, is when if something can be done better in all aspects, I think it should be done better to the best of your possible ability at that time. Or what's the point in doing it? Then you have to go back and redo it, or you think I could have done better. It just, I don't like that.
Yeah. You know, I don't know if you know Gail Federici, and she has the Wow products. Well, Sue and I worked with her. Yeah. Back in the day with Zetos. So she was I don't know what her title was, but anyway, that was when we were doing photographs that were filmed. So that was like in 2000 or the late 80s. Anyway, she was always yelling at me because I would do the model's hair. And back then you didn't have digital. You know, you couldn't re-enhance the shape a little bit, but you had to do the shape, whatever it was, you had to photograph it. And so having somebody with an eye to be able to, because so many times when people are hairdressers or artists, they concentrate on only one thing. And you're too close to that model that you don't stand away, or, you need somebody to tell you, stand away, look at the shape. Does the shape look good? Or, yeah, the shape does look good. So she would yell at me and she would tell me to stop, do not touch your hair. Because you couldn't touch your hair because you didn't have digital. It was photographed that way. So she taught me a lot, just her yelling at me. Well, of course, I didn't take it personal. But, that's the beauty about going into a photo shoot is when you know what you can do and you are so gifted and have the talent of doing both, and you have developed your eye to see the actual shape, that's awesome. And to be able to go into a photo shoot and to have a group of people and let them do the work. And you may not agree with it. Well, you're the artist. So you can say, I think she should have had more eyeshadow, or she should, when I look at the screen, it looks like she's more washed out, or whatever it is. It's to be able to communicate those areas where you want to communicate. I think it's so important. It's so important.
I think so too. And I think what you said about the shape and everything is so spot on. And yeah, having that attention to detail, that if you're going to do it, do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do it to the best that you can. And I think so much of that is just through training your eye to see those things. I don't think, sometimes it comes natural, sometimes it doesn't, but yeah, training your eye to see those things and to correct them. And I think the thing that, I don't know if people know this with the competitions, like the Nahas or the Contessas, if they don't actively participate in them, is that you do submit unretouched photos and your retouched photos. And I think that that's so important, especially with AI and all these things coming out. I just think that the work before retouching is so important. I'm just holding this dog bone here. I do pride myself on that the work that's unretouched versus retouched is, you'd have to zoom in to find spots that have been retouched, because I want it to be perfect to my eye as much as I can. And the retouching is just there to fix minor things. It's not there to change the whole thing.
Right. That's so incredible. Just listen to you talk you're so young. And
can we just pause for 1 second? My dog might bark at my roommate, so I'm just going to let her have her moment. Say hello. There we go. She goes a little crazy, so I'm like, I'll just pop there so they can cut that out. I think we were talking about having the eye and the shape and being able to go in and correct it as needed in the retouching and AI. Yeah.
And right now with AI, is so important to be able to, and I've talked to a lot of people that are judges for the competitions, and to develop your eye to see that it's AI or has it been enhanced or not, and sometimes you could see it, and sometimes some of the AI is really good, but it's just developing your eye to be able to see what is real and what is not real,
Absolutely, yeah.
Right. So, is there anything else you want to tell us about yourself?
Not really. I think I'm a lot more introverted, maybe, than people would suspect. So I don't really have anything that I would share. I'm just kind of,
Well, I see in the back you have 2 of your awards. Mm-hmm. So those are the awards from NAHA?
Yeah, so it's so funny. I went to a physio appointment with my physiotherapist, and he sees the stuff I do on Instagram. He's like, you probably had to get a whole new shelf for these awards that you got. I'm like, I actually did. I had to get a shelf because I was like, I don't have somewhere to put them. I live in a 2-bedroom apartment. It's quite small. So yeah, I actually got this shelf so I could put, these are just the awards from this year. And then my other ones I have in my other room. So yeah, those are my 2 Nahas, and then my Contessas, and then that is the live hair fashion award that I got in Vegas. So this is kind of like this year right here.
Yeah, and that's this year only.
It's crazy.
Good. So I'm going to go through this rapid fire fun with you. So I'm going to ask you 5 questions. So whatever comes to your mind, audience will know you a little bit more better than the artist doing hair and makeup, okay? So, number 1, coffee or tea when you're working on a set?
Coffee, always. Iced, even. But always coffee, never tea.
Okay. Only English people drink tea, right?
It doesn't mean I need.
So what's your favorite beauty product you can't live without?
I would say, I can't pick one. Probably foundation. Foundation and fake eyelashes. Because I think that you could do a lot. Well, you couldn't do a lot with fake eyelashes. You can only do one thing with those. But probably foundation. I just love like a clean base. So yeah, foundation.
Foundation, good. So what is your go-to playlist when you're creating?
Anything that hypes me up. I would say it kind of varies depending on my mood, but like ones that I frequent would be like Kendrick Lamar, or like lately I've been into Doechii. Just kind of, yeah, whoever's getting me going, you know that.
Yeah. So in one word to describe your 2025 so far, can you say in one word what?
Reaffirming, I think.
Reaffirming.
Yeah, I think reaffirming. Yeah, because I think that it's like when you're creating something, you know, there's no one there to like hold your hand. At least I guess it's not true. At least in my case, there's, you know, I don't have someone necessarily mentoring me or telling me, you know, what to do or these kind of things. It's you know, it's not like I do it as a job. It's, you know, my own undertaking to do it and my own dedication, own discipline to show up and do these things and plan these things. And it's all, you know, your own decision to do it. So you do it and you don't really know what the outcome will be. It doesn't really, it's like you're doing it to be creative, so you don't want to attach too much to the outcome. But I think that like dedication to just always trying to do the best possible work I can do and top myself, not focus on what other people are doing. I just do, you know, my last photo shoot, I want to do something better than that. For me, I want to do something I've never seen before. Because when I look at people's photos and I'm like, how did they do that? I've never seen that before. I like that. So that is reaffirming, you know, to see, you know, the awards that you get for that is just like, it reaffirms what I'm doing. And I'm like, wow, okay, that really paid off. That's kind of cool. Like you know, it's cool. So reaffirming, that's my long answer for that.
That's good. If you could collaborate with any artist, past or present, who would it be?
I think it would depend on like who is the artist. Like, is it a photographer? Is it a hairstylist? I would say for like photographer, I think like David LaChapelle inspires a lot of like the vibe that I like. Like, you know, his shoots with Paris Hilton and like very, I don't know, I really like that style, I would say. So I think it would be really cool to collaborate with him and see like if I created some hair and makeup, like what would the backdrop be? Or like Tyler Shields, I like his photography. And then as far as like hairstylist or makeup artist, I don't know. I think that Robert Labetta, like his work is always just, I think it's, I don't know. Sometimes I just look back at his archives and everything he's done is so iconic to me. And it still is iconic that I just think that to get to do something with him would be like so cool. So
yeah, that's awesome. Oh, but those were great questions, weren't they? And you answered them really well. So can you tell the audience where they can find you?
Yes. So my Instagram is at glam.brianne. Same with my website. Just glambrianne.com. They can find me there. I've thought about this for so long, and I feel like I finally have the platform to say it, so I just have to say it. It's so funny because people ask me about the Glam Brianne, like where did that come from? And I feel it's such a misconception. Not a misconception, but I think that people, like, I created it so long ago that I've thought about changing my business name. It actually is my business name. And I thought about changing it because I'm like, does it really suit who I am today? But then I keep it because I'm just like, no, it's such a... But I created it so long ago. So the whole point is that, like, I think if I could share something with people, it's that it really is like a joke. You know, like, I joke about it with my family and friends, you know, and they, like, make fun of me because I'll do something that's so not Glam Brianne, and they'll be like, oh, that's very, like, Glam Brianne of you, you know, because I grew up like a tomboy. I didn't wear hair, makeup, any of this. This is something I've more found in my, like, adulthood. So, yeah, it's more just, like, funny to me that I'm, like, telling people, oh, go find me at Glam Brianne because I'm, yeah, but that's where they can find me. So
great. So, and that's how I found you. Well, no, I found you because you won all these awards in AHA. But that's how I found you. Well, Brianna, thank you so much on behalf on Sue, and I know Sue couldn't get on. We want to thank you for being on this podcast and on Artists, Icons, and Entrepreneurs. And keep an eye on this girl. She may be young, but she's mean.
I'm here to stay. I'll say that. I'm here to
She's
stay.
going to say for a long time. And she's, take her classes, look her up on Instagram and Facebook. Just look her up and you'll see all the wonderful things that she's doing. Thank you, Brianne, again.
Thank you so much for having me. This is so fun. My first podcast. So I really appreciate you asking me, and your questions were so great. And I was so excited to do this. So thank you so much for asking me.
We're going to ask you again. So be around, okay? Okay. All right. Thank you.
Wow, what an episode. That wraps up another exciting edition of Artists, Icons, and Entrepreneurs. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope you're leaving inspired and ready to chase your dreams. Don't forget to follow us on social media and subscribe to our podcast so you never miss an episode over at youtube.com/Artists, Icons, Entrepreneurs, as well as Facebook at Lulu Benavidez, on IG at Lulu Benavidez, at Evolve Hair Solutions as well. And don't forget to visit our website at lulubenavidez.com and evolvehairsolutions.com to stay updated. Until next time, keep dreaming big, creating boldly, and making your mark on the world. Thanks for listening, and take care, everyone.